Welcome to Conversations in Between the Realms, a podcast where the mystical meets the everyday. Join Amanda Nova and Beth Renov each week as we dive into the profound journey of awakening, sharing our experiences, insights, and the lessons that guide us toward our divine purpose. Together, we awaken and guide our souls and others, exploring the magic of living in the 3D while staying connected to the higher realms, embracing the challenges, and celebrating the growth. You've been guided here for a reason. Trust in the journey and let the unfolding begin.
Hello and welcome back to Conversations in Between the Realms. I'm Amanda Nova and I am here with the lovely Beth Renov, who you are glowing today. You do have some zhuzh going on, little glow.
I would say I'm pregnant, but I'm not because I got my periods.
Well, you have a period glow, which is probably just sweat. I'm sweating. That's my glow. I feel like I'm so hot. And we turned off my fans, so now I'm really hot.
So, do you not get like AC in there?
No, we do. But like, I feel like we're so funny about our AC. And well, first of all, I don't know how to work anything in the house. So I think this goes back to me not being able to do human tasks, like full alien. Like, you know, I cannot do regular things, guys, like figure out how to turn on. I mean, the air conditioning is not a difficult thing. There's like, it's literally just hitting a button. But like, I don't deal with it because that's a human thing that it's way out of my scope.
I will say our AC is different than our heat. Our AC is connected to this like iPad kind of thing, but our heat is just a normal thermostat. So maybe you're not that weird. Maybe it just has like a weird thing going on. But I keep my house at like 65.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Rob's not home. Rob isn't home, and so when he's not home, like the temperature goes wild, and I have my heating pad thing on my back, which probably isn't helping. So yeah, I'm just sweating it up.
Wow.
So yeah, but we were gonna talk about our favorite episodes. We did 50 episodes, which is really crazy, and both of us have had podcasts before and haven't even scratched that, which is really crazy.
I don't even think I got to 10, maybe 10.
Do you know how many you actually did?
I can tell you. Hang on. Where's YouTube?
Yeah, so Beth did a podcast called Are You Afraid of the Talk, where it was more therapy based and you had people on
I didn't
had difficult conversations. No, you had people on and you had people having difficult conversations essentially on there and, you know, talking through those things. And I had a podcast that was about really chronic illness and health and wellness and sort of that time of my life. And I only did like 20 something episodes on that. It felt like
I did 9 over 2 years. I must say it was really hard to get people on because it was like you had to ask people to be vulnerable and come on and talk about something like scary that happened in their life that they overcame and are talking about. And it really went through like their whole experience, what they learned. You know, it was so formulaic now that I'm like, ew, I wish I had done it differently. And also like, I don't know. I just like stopped myself from talking. You know, I was like, let you be the expert, and I'd chime in, but it was not like as conversational.
Yeah. I think there's obviously different types, and I think like, you know, I think there's something about giving other people the floor and, you know, holding that space, but then it also is like, I don't know, it's also like enabling from giving yourself that voice and like during that time where that's like 1,000% what you were doing. And me too, like we were interviewing people on the podcast all the time. So it was never really about like sharing. Yeah. And that's why we've created this the way that we have, and we don't have people on because this is about our voice and our experience and sharing and, you know, us having these conversations, hence the name. And so I think it's interesting now that you're saying that, because I'm like, you know, you were so about raising other people up during that time and so about hiding your own voice.
Yeah. And like, in all fairness, it was during COVID and I was like, how can I give therapy to people? Like have it be accessible. And I was like, what if people came on, talked about something that was really relatable? So like someone out there would feel like, oh my God, I feel really seen. Like that's like, I got something from that. You know, so it's not like giving people therapy, but it just had that bit of feeling seen, like not feeling alone and isolated. So it was a good idea. It's just, it was really hard. I found like a lot of people came on to promote themselves, and I'm like, that's not what this is about. And neither is
Yeah.
this. We're not here
Yeah.
to like promote things. We're really here to give our takes on things. To also, it's in this similar way of like, this is what we experienced. Does it resonate? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of podcasts have become, actually. I think it's become, and when people are interviewing other people, it has really become about promotion. Like
Yeah.
I've been asked to be on podcasts, and people will ask me to be on their podcast, and then they'll be like, "What do you want to talk about?" And I'm like, "You asked me to be on your podcast. What do you want to talk about?" Like,
Right.
they'll be like, "What do you like want to discuss?" Or like, "What are you promoting?" And I'm like, if there's a topic that you want to ask me about, like, I'm happy to discuss it, but like, it's really become so much about that. And what I really enjoy about the space that we've created is that we really have been so vulnerable in this space. I mean, I think like what's coming through for me is like, God, like, I mean, having my seizure and then channeling Joshua live on here, like, I think that's probably the most vulnerable and like trusting that I've ever been, like, live on camera, on being recorded. Like, I mean, that was like a serious, serious risk for me to do.
Mhm. Yeah. And it turned out really well. I think that was our most
Yeah.
popular one, actually.
It was so scary. I mean, that
Yeah.
was so, so scary. And I feel like, I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't you on the other side of this with me, like
Yeah.
trusting each other and like being able to do that. But like thinking back to like this time last year and allowing those things to come through and having this space to do that, and everybody listening and, being along for that ride, like, that was such a special experience for me, because the thing is that whether or not the podcasts of the past happen or not, they still exist.
Right.
So like those things, your old podcast episodes or my old podcast episodes, people can go back and listen to them. They exist in the universe, right? So, people can go back and listen to our older episodes and they can still get something out of it,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that's what I love so much too.
Yeah. It's not like it's erased. It's just also like different versions of ourselves, you know? Like that is what's crazy to me. Even from the beginning of this one to now, like I think about like the first, I've said this on here too, the first video I made from like my Instagram profile.
Yeah.
So bad. They're comical, actually, but it's just like it's such a good reminder of how far I've come. And that was
Yeah.
so vulnerable for me. I was so afraid to come on camera, and I've
Mhm.
gotten so much more natural. You know,
Yeah.
like there's still a room for improvement. I'm not like a professional video maker, but maybe like with the like funny ones, but not being on camera. You know?
Yeah, but it's that practice. I was talking to somebody the other day, like a girlfriend of mine was having to do a presentation in front of like 200 people, and I was thinking back to like when I used to do presentations in business school and like early in my career, and I was thinking about how I hated
You
talking in
hated
front
public
of people.
speaking.
Yes,
Yeah.
hated public speaking. And like even when I worked from home and did marketing, I would have to do these presentations, like, oh my God, I used to lose my mind. And it really is about repetition and consistency, and also stepping into your authenticity. It's like if you know what you're talking about, it's also different than presenting other people's information, which, I've found. But it's like now I've been doing social media, like showing up on camera since 2019. Like that's
A long time.
7 years. That's a long
Oh,
time.
it's a long
That's a
time.
while now. Like I started the page that I have now, I started in 2019, just before my second back surgery. So that's a long time. So people see that and they think like, oh, like, I, want my social media to be here. I want to be able to show up on camera. Like it has taken a long time. In my early videos, my voice is so like, hi everyone, welcome to Amanda. Just right. Like my voice was so different. Like I had nothing behind my voice because I was so scared to do that.
Yeah, me too. You know, and even just the difference of I was really confident on my other podcast, but I didn't have to speak. I didn't have to, like I'm really comfortable in therapist mode. Like I always have. Like even when a client comes to me like one-on-one, like I was nervous and it was really vulnerable when Alana came on. I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was like, crap. I'm like, I have to do this live. That scares me. But if it's
Yeah.
someone like coming to me, I have a little bit of nerves, but it's just like once it starts, I'm fine because we're in that like flow. But like knowing there's a camera on you is so vulnerable. It's like, I'm not going to do well. I'm going to get things wrong. And it's just like, you start to doubt yourself. And I like this has pushed us so far out of our comfort zones back into another one.
It's so true. And looking at all of the things that have happened over the past year, I think there's been some full circle moments that we've had. I think we're definitely not in the same place that we were a year ago. And the podcast still feels relevant to us in terms of what we're talking about, which is also not something that we were anticipating. Like we didn't know how long it was going to go for. Like we've had really no date in mind. Like we were zero plan. Zero plan, the no plan.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of like seeing where everything went. And we've both been committed to just continuing to show up and see what happens. And like I think that that's also something that's really beautiful. Like I think that that's where the change happens. Like I feel like people want instant results all the time, and like it's just that's not how it happens.
Yeah. And like for you, like what I see like growth wise, you are just like, I think you're out of the corporate mindset. I think you're out, like I've seen so much growth in you.
Jeez.
Yeah. And like I feel like Josh Yoon I feel like the seizure did something for you,
Yeah.
And I just feel like you're a night and day person. Like even just how you talk, how you're more comfortable in, I don't think you're comfortable in where you're at, but you're more comfortable being uncomfortable. I think that's the difference.
Yeah. I think that I've shifted a lot, and I think to your point, like I still feel very comfortable once I'm like in channel. I feel very comfortable, and I didn't feel like that's taken a year to feel that way. Like when the information is coming through, I feel really comfortable. I think like for me it's like it's like realizing that you've changed so much. We were just kind of talking about this yesterday, and being like, okay, when the boat gets rocked and you want to go pull on the old things and the old things don't fit the new version of you, that's where things get a little uncomfortable. And you're like, wait a second, like I'm totally different person than I was a year ago or 2 years ago. And then it's like, okay, well, what works now? And that's where like I get a little uncomfy, because I'm like, well, maybe I should pull on these things that worked and they don't anymore, And I think it's kind of like interesting. And I feel like with you, like I feel like you are, oh my God, from what I met you 10 years ago, Jesus Christ, Beth, you're an entirely different person. Oh my God. Beth had like we like almost didn't like continue to be together.
Yeah.
Like Beth, you were so much more serious. I mean, the nature of our relationship has obviously shifted a lot, in what it started to where it is. But you were such a different person 10 years ago, like before Lyme, before all of these things. Like I feel like when you first started with therapy, like you were so much more serious. I feel like you were very much more like serious. Like I have to be like, it's almost like you were keeping yourself locked up, like you had to keep this like control, whereas like now I feel like you let go and surrender so much more than you did before.
Well, I was so afraid of like going outside the red tape. I really like, I will say social work school is like an indoctrination factory a little bit, and they scare the crap out of you. And they're like, you have to be this way. And the thing is, like, I've never done things the way people have told me to. That's just not who I am. And it doesn't mean I'm doing it wrong. But I was just so afraid. And I've gotten rid of this a lot. Is like, I'm going to be found out. Like someone's going to
Yeah.
report me and I'm going to lose my license. And now I'm just like, if I do, I have this.
Right,
Like
right,
I'm like,
right,
I'm okay. You know,
right.
like I don't need it that badly. I know I help people. My clients love me. They've been with me for 10 years. Like that says something. And I'm not keeping them there. Some stop and come back, you know, but we're on like a journey together and they've
Mhm.
grown so much. And there are like, I just took a CEU where they're like, well, why are they still with you? And it's like, are you doing something wrong? Like, and it's like, are you now attached? And I'm like, maybe, but like, why does therapy only have to be for these like certain skills? You know, like,
Right,
why can't it be with someone? Because you're ever evolving, you're ever
right,
changing. And I do feel like I do something beyond normal therapy, you
right,
know? I'm
right,
not doing like, I'm not channeling openly, you know, but like, it's just something different and everyone has grown, everyone has become like their highest version of themselves or higher version, and they are different from the minute they walked in my office, and that
right,
for me is just like, I don't care what kind of rules you have, like
right,
I'm not
right.
taking advantage of anybody.
Right. Well, and I think it's really easy with anything to look at it like that and be like, well, why is this person with me for so long? And this should be, from A to Z and fix a problem. And I think that that is the issue with a lot of these industries in general, because it's like, well, that's not how life works. And that's not how
Right.
healing works. Healing is up and down. I mean, we talk constantly and there's ups and downs constantly. Like we're cycling up and down. I mean, like there are times that we get on the phone or even here where we get on and we're like energized and we're like bumping and we're like, yeah, like let's go. And then there's other times where we've hopped on and looked at each other and been like, we're not fucking doing this today.
Last week.
Last week we're like, we're not, we literally are not doing this. And I feel like that is normal and that's acceptance of like, I'm not going to work with somebody and be healed after X amount of months, right? Like that's just not how this works. Like you have to accept that like you're human and you're going to cycle through things. And I think that that's one of the things that I still kind of struggle with as a human being is like, okay, like when I have a bad day, a bad week, like I've been having a bad week, and I kind of then will be like, well, is this a hard time or is it a bad week? Like, and I kind of like have to, take a step back and then look at a situation and be like, is this a rut or is it about, am I PMSing? Or like, like
Right.
you kind of like have to like pull yourself out of the mix a little bit to see those things. And that's again like the acceptance of like, you're gonna get sick, you're going to have your period, you're going to come in contact with a chemical, I don't know, things are going to happen, right? So that's just life, and having somebody there to support you through all of that, like a therapist, like a spiritual guidance
Yeah.
counselor, essentially. Somebody called me a coach the other day, and I love my clients, and they were like, coach, and I was like, God help me, please don't call me coach. Like I
Yeah.
hate that word with a
Put
fucking
me in, Karen.
passion. Yeah, like put me in like they were like, you're basically like a health and like wellness like coach, and I was like, God help me, please do not call me a health coach. I will fucking kill myself. Okay, hang me high on that one. All right, do not call me that. But I was like, yes, essentially, being there for somebody. And I have clients who I've been helping with health problems for 5 years, and it's not that they haven't healed, it's that they new things pop up, like, and they need help with
That they
it.
have healed, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, I want more of this. It's not, and this is what I don't like about the health and wellness space, and even therapy is like, they make it seem like you're going to get to this place where you're healed. I don't think there is a healed definitive place. You can
Right.
heal more and be
Mm-hmm.
okay, and it's totally fine if you want to stop going to you, going to me, going to someone for support. But it doesn't mean there's not more healing to do. So it's like people feel really good, and it's this support in their life that if they can afford, why would they drop it?
Right.
Why is that the right thing to do? You know?
Right. Right. And there are good spaces and there's bad spaces. There's
Right.
healed spaces and there's not healed spaces. Like there's periods of time where you're going through the healing, and this comes up so much with people, especially within spirituality, of people being like, am I ever going to stop healing and being in the dark and being like through that? And my thing on that is like, you are not always in that place. Like there are times where you're good and you are feeling good, and then like you go back into another wave of like the awakening, or you're shedding another layer essentially, or you're going through like another darkness, but like you're not always in that place. Like, you know, there's always more to uncover. And I do think it's like a lifetime journey of uncovering who you truly are. And I think that's really like, and knowing yourself. And I think that's really like what all of this is. And but you don't have to remain in one space, good or bad.
Right. And I will say, like, once you get through a hard place, when you're in the good place is when you can do actual, like, a lot of really good healing. You know,
Right.
like this week I've been in a pretty good place. I've been better than I have in like years, you know? And this week, like yesterday I had therapy, and I came to this realization, which has been there for a really long time, and it's really obvious, but I was able to really sit with it, and my body got activated. Like I started getting really hot, and I noticed the week before I started getting really hot, and I was just like, I think there's a belief about myself that I cannot be successful, that I can't handle like a lot of work because I've been sick in the past, even from like kindergarten. And
Right.
we were able to go there without me being like in a trauma place, without me having to deal with something really big. And I'm like, I think this is like the block that I need to really focus on, because it's really, it's always present. Like I get going a little bit, and then it feels like something's in the way, you know. And I couldn't have gotten there. I couldn't have even like said that out loud if I was in a bad place, you know. So it's just like sometimes that healing, and it's like I feel like we did real like therapy in that moment, not just like crisis intervention, you know?
Right. Yeah. And that's what it's about. And you know, you do the spiritual work or the energy work to uncover these things, to remove these things, and then you do the therapeutic work to really work through them and sit with them, like you said, and really look at those things. And I think it's all important. And I do think, like, you know, a lot of times people get to a place where they're feeling good and they drop all their stuff. And I totally do that. Totally do that. We all do. It's a thing. It's like, I feel great now, I don't need all my stuff. Like, no, you need it, you still need it. And it's, again, it's about consistency, and what got you to that point is why you're doing good, right? So it's like, you know, keeping up with that. But, you know, I think, like, you know, here in this space, I think we've shared so many things and so many resources and so much that I hope that people can find just that resonates with them and that they can relate to, and just so that they can feel a little less alone, and that they can find, you know, a little bit of themselves within us.
Right. And feel like you're on this journey, like we're all on it together. It's not just like isolation, right? Because it is a really like the spiritual stuff. Like now that I just said that out loud, I'm like, I probably need energy work and see to see if it's ancestral or, you know, past life, you know. And it's just like there's not a lot of people you can necessarily talk about this with, you know. So we want to put it out there. We wanted you to feel like you're not weird and crazy. Maybe you are, but you know, again, not because of this. But you know, we're going through it each individually and together, and same with you, individually and together collectively. We are going through this, and we hope we've created this community, or a part of a community that feels like home and feels, you know, really safe and welcoming.
Yeah. And if there's topics that you guys want us to cover, or things that you want to learn more about, things, even just like, even crazy conspiracies you want us to talk about, like funky things,
we'd love that.
Like write it, like write in, let us know. Like, you know, this is really not, it is for us, it's healing for us, but it's for you guys. And so, like, I really feel like, yeah, be a part of it. Write in, let us know, and, you know, we'll keep doing it.
Yeah. And we are going to move forward with more like live channeling. We just didn't want it to be like back-to-back sessions. We want to sprinkle it in, and we do want to showcase that, because that is what we do really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are on this journey, but we also have gifts, and it's about showing those, and it's about pushing us out of our comfort zones. And the more we do it on here, the more it pushes us, and the more it can help people, and that domino effect happens. So
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So reach out if you guys need us. If you are someone who's been corresponding with us and you haven't heard back, it is because, in full transparency, I have been on the struggle bus and been behind on literally everything. So I am getting there, and we will be back in touch with everybody, and we'll get everybody scheduled. So if you need us, you know where to find us. And thank you guys for being here on this journey with us.
yes, and thank you. If you listened for the 50 episodes, thank you. If you need to catch up and you're just joining, it's been a ride, so go catch up on those, and we'll see you next episode. Bye.
Bye.